Hi there, this is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I want to talk to you today about something that I consider very, very backwards. In fact, I don't like this avenue of thinking at all because I think it adds another layer of restriction. What I'm talking about is when I was in a very difficult situation and I would say the words, I can't. People who think about affirmations and, oh, you've got to change your words kind of thinking coaches were all over me. You've got to stop those words. You've got to change those words. I totally think the opposite. And here's why. When those kind of words keep coming out of your mouth, when that kind of story keeps replaying, when you keep using words that you can't, you won't, you're just so stuck, you can't think in any other way. Trying to change the words is like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. It rarely works, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and you will get so much farther, faster, quicker, more easily if you find out what is driving the energy that's causing those beliefs and those words. And it doesn't have to take a long time when you get a coach or you pop open the right avenue. Those words will automatically change. Now, a couple of the coaches that would harp on me for changing my words did not know me in a time when I was very successful. A lot of life events dumped on me, unexpected events, very hurtful, painful, devastating, grief-stricken events. And I was so overloaded with dealing with just the energy and the emotions of those events, I couldn't get back to my successful ways that I had already proven were mine. I already knew how to be successful. I already knew how to go forward and do things in an efficient manner in the quickest, shortest, easiest way. I was farther and easier to accomplish goals in a short amount of time. So when they were telling me, change your words, and, what do you mean you can't? Say you can, you can't. Well, honestly, I think that's BS. I think it's intense BS. When I got to the root cause, when I started getting to the energy of what was preventing me, there's a safety mechanism built in when you are too afraid, when your subconscious says, don't go forward without cleaning this up. You will be blocked, you will be stymied, you will be stopped dead in your tracks, drive yourself crazy, try to push through and feel the fear anyway, try to go beyond what's comfortable. And all of that is another layer of you're fighting resistance, and it's making it so darn hard. I see it completely differently. When I got to why can't I go forward, what is driving the bus on me being overwhelmed, and I'm not going to go into detail in this particular audio, but there was a protective mechanism in place stopping me on purpose, because if I tried to push through that fear at that time, I would have been doubly overwhelmed. I wouldn't have had time to deal with the emotions that were stopping me and causing me so much difficulty. I wouldn't have gotten to the source. I would have compounded the problem. And changing the words means nothing when your subconscious mind doesn't resonate with that. That's the thing I'm trying to make a point about here. Affirmations and positive words will mean nothing if your subconscious is not congruent with it. For those people that can use affirmations or can get through things, they may be at a lower level of anxiety or tension or stress. But I'm telling you, I have seen not only with my clients in my interactions with the oodles of people that I've worked with, but I've heard it over and over again in entrepreneur membership sites, in membership sites of people who want to go forward with real estate or positive thinking or their dreams, their goals, and the feedback threads within those membership sites are always, but I'm having so much trouble. I'm so stuck. How do you get motivation? When you're trying to force getting something, there is a huge stopgap that is in your subconscious mind or your energy that is saying, don't go there yet, honey. It will either be dangerous, unsafe, it will overwhelm you, it will take you down, and your mission, more so, in my opinion, should be work with somebody who knows how to get to subconscious beliefs like I do, knows how to get to the energy and what's holding in your physicality within your body to release those blocks. Because once you do, you can soar much quicker, farther, faster, and be in alignment with your goals that will really be the true goals instead of maybe what you're doing out of fear or anxiety and trying to force and push yourself. You will become much more authentic. You will become much more in alignment with who you are. Feeling and doing things just because someone else tells you to when you're not getting anywhere, that's the reason, in my opinion, and I've seen it work miracles. When I popped open the undercurrent, the real source of the problem, and you have to go back. It's not what's happening in your adult world now, unless it's a trauma. I will say that with a caveat there, unless it's a trauma. But most roots have taken place between your relationships, what you saw, what you heard, what you experienced, what you saw your family and your parents live, what you saw other people live before the age of 7. Now, that's not always the case, but it is often the case. And when you don't go back to that foundation, you're trying to put perfume, let's be honest here, you're trying to put perfume on shit. And you've got to clean up the mess first for the perfume to have the fragrance and give that lovely energy off of you. Some people may disagree with this, and that's fine, then this isn't for you. But I'm telling you, I have seen strong, quick, efficient transitions. Now, I want to tell you a story, too, not only about the affirmations and positive thinking, which is a crock unless you get to the undercurrent, far as I'm concerned. Now, I will back off just a second and say some people can make an improvement by changing some of their words, but it depends on the severity. It depends on how strong that energy is blocking. Some people can push through, but you know what? I don't want to push through and always have to push through to always feel the pain. I want to be excited about being motivated. I want to feel like it's genuine, not something I have to push through. I'm all about pleasure. I am not about suffering. And I was suffering when I was trying to get these people to understand it's an energetic root. You don't just change the words and magically things turn around. I'm not trying to sound superior here. I'm just saying it didn't work for me, and it caused so much resistance against them and what they were trying to do to help me. And I get they were trying to help me. I am not in that place anymore because I went to the source. I want to tell you also, part 2, not only can you get farther, faster, shorter, quicker, and in alignment with who and what you really are by changing the energy and the core beliefs underneath that might be working against you. But I also want to tell you how to program in. Now, I have mentioned this on other sites, and it's so effective, not just because I created it, but because I've seen the effects of it. I put it together as a download on my trueauthenticpower.com website because I saw it work such miracles. And I was like, holy cow, I need to share this with people. I need to tell them how effective this is and how it can flush things out. So it's called Design Your Life Now. It's on the homepage of my trueauthenticpower.com website. It's about a third of the way down. And in that Design Your Life download, what makes it so effective is that I ask you questions to get clear on what you want. Not what I'm telling you to do, not what some other person is telling you to do, not what some guru is telling you to do, not what your family, parents, friends, everybody who has the best intentions for you, what they're telling you to do, but to get in touch with your heart and soul, to get in touch with your spirit and what it needs, what it's calling out for, what it loves. It's a dream sheet that gets you in touch and has you reflect on what things you love to do, the people you love to be around, and gets you to think about, why do you love those people? Why do you love those tasks? What is it about different things that you've done or seen in your life that bring you such passion and joy? And I'm not talking passion of, oh, I want to change the world. I'm talking your internal passion that makes you want to get up in the morning, that makes you feel happy about your life, that makes you feel fulfilled in this moment, no matter what you do going forward, no matter how many lives you change, you can feel good about you right in this moment. Now, if this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine and good. Then find something that does. But don't just blindly listen to people when you find yourself resisting or working against or, fighting what they're telling you, because that's your signal to say, that's not the right avenue for me, or it doesn't feel right. It's not lining up for me. There's something else for me to seek out, find, uncover, and go down that path. the second thing I want to tell you is I was having a conversation with somebody in a chat on Facebook today, and I was telling her about my Design Your Life Now because she was saying, I don't want to market. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I want to tell you a story of how I changed my clientele by using this Design Your Life Now download. I talk my talk, I walk my walk. So I walk my talk. Wait, yeah, that's how the saying goes. I walk my talk, right? Anyhow, you get the gist. So when I first started doing EFT as a coach, I was going blindly. I had never run my business before. And clearly I was doing a shotgun approach, just trying to make some income. I was in a survival mode after a lot of trauma and tragedy had hit, and I needed income, and I had no viable way to go back to sales, do the searching for a job and the presentations, and then I'd get in the quotas. I loved my sales job, but I could not go back to that kind of pressure. So I started this business, my EFT coaching business, kind of in a shotgun approach by fire under my feet to make some income. And when I first started, I was coming off a very devastating illness and loved ones dying time frame. So I was stuck in the energy of physical illness. Now, it wasn't necessarily my physical illness, but I was surrounded by it. Between my mom and my sweetheart, Ray, I was surrounded by physical issues, and I learned a ton being in the hospital or in the rehab or in the nursing home daily. I saw gigantic oversights, which made me go into deeper to finding, solutions that I thought would be much better. Suffice it to say, I was surrounded by illness, which is exactly what I was drawing in for clients. I didn't want to work with illness. I didn't want to work with devastating diagnoses. I didn't want to work with people who would say to me, is this covered by insurance? I didn't want to work with people who were saying to me, oh, but you're expensive and I can't afford it. It started really irritating me because not only was I going against what I wasn't good at, which was dealing with illness and that kind of trauma. No, I was trying to run away from it, but my energy was carrying it. I started tapping on what would I like instead. What were my skills? What were my abilities? Now, I had been very successful at a sales rep position. I sold national accounts. I had many devoted clients. They felt nurtured and taken care of by some of the thank you notes and some of the comments to my managers that I would get or that they would give me. So I knew I had really strong skills. And when I started thinking of what do I want? What do I want to focus on instead? It was I wanted to focus on people in business, people who like to manifest, people who are trying to grow, people who want more out of their life and are stuck. I wanted to work with people who wanted a desire to go forward, who didn't expect to be fixed. They wanted to uncover their own insights. And that's the kind of coach I am. I'm telling you how I did some things here and what I would strongly recommend. But if that doesn't fit you, don't listen to it. Find your own path. I'm just giving you an avenue that I knew worked really well for me and really worked well for other people. If it doesn't fit for you, don't listen. Don't use it. That's fine. I'm just giving an alternative to what a lot of people don't hear. So take it for what it's worth. But what happened when I started getting really clear, I wanted clients who could afford to pay for me. I wanted people who were in business and wanted to manifest a goal. I wanted people who would never ask me, does insurance cover it? I wanted to attract people who could well afford what I did. So here's what happened. And I'm telling you, it changed dramatically who I attracted. I ended up thinking about this for a while and like, how could I get to different people? Now, ironically, though I was tapping on that and I was tapping on the things that I just mentioned to you, there was a chiropractic business up the street from me. Now, listen to the irony of this, but I tapped it into my energy differently and it manifested differently. Chiropractor, massage, and acupuncture were all part of this one location, and there were several people within that location doing all of these different avenues of healing. I was surrounded by illness, people dealing with illness, problems, pain, suffering. I'm driving that home for a reason. I ended up by fluke which I didn't need to rent a space because I had facilities in my house that were perfect. Separate entrance, separate bathroom, separate everything. I didn't need to rent the space. I ended up meeting the acupuncturist there. She talked to me about renting the space, which I didn't need, but it was such a phenomenal price, and I kept getting nudged about it. And I listened to intuitive nudges. I ended up renting from her for an unbelievable price, and I stayed there 2 years. But here's what happened as a result of that. Now, keep in mind, I'm stressing this because it's significant. I was surrounded by healing, sick, painful, problematic, physical people in that building. Not only the people who provided the service, but the people who came for those services. This is the irony. I gave a free session to both of the chiropractors in that building who owned the building and also worked within the building, because most people at that time hadn't heard about EFT, and I wanted them to know what I did so that they might refer people to me. Not thinking you don't want illness people. It was so ironic that I did this. It was kind of crazy thinking, but here's what happened. I offered a free session to those two guys. One of the men told his brother about me, who was very interested, emailed me immediately for an appointment, I think that night that I gave his brother the appointment, the freebie. And he knew a lot of people. This brother knew a lot of people in the community. And he was sending people, like, after he did his appointment, like crazy to me. I didn't have to market. I didn't have to solicit. I didn't have to do email marketing. I didn't have to do any. It just opened up the flow. But here's the irony. I got my first millionaire. I got people who I actually had a client who was a doctor, and she said to me at the time, she said, "Your prices are too low. I cannot pay you that low." She gave me more money in the check that she wrote out for me than I even asked. It took me to a higher level because my intentional tapping on what I wanted, what I got clear about, was so much higher than where I had been. Now, here's the crazy thing. Those chiropractors would refer, and the acupuncturist and the massage, they all referred people among them. And at the time, it didn't dawn on me until years later. Nobody was really referring their ill, difficulty with physical issue kind of patients or clients. I got referred family members. I met a lot of the different families within those people that I had done the freebies for. I never got referred by their ill or sickly or physically having an issue patients. Are you hearing the significance of this? I was surrounded, and yet I was drawing in people who wanted to go forward, who wanted to clear up their blocks, who wanted to manifest their greatest desires. I still look back on that thinking how freaky that is. But I know it happened. It happened to me. And that's what those things that happened to me, that I saw proof, because I'm not a, oh, here, do it and just trust me kind of person. I'm like, holy cow, I see proof that this stuff works, and I want to share it with people because it has changed my life. If it doesn't feel congruent for you, if you think it's a bunch of hooey, move on to something else. But I would still strongly suggest to you that when you get to the subconscious roots, when you get to the energetic blocks, when you get to how your body has been locked and linked, holding on to those energies to prevent you from going into more pain, when you heal that undercurrent and those deeper reasons, amazing things show up. And it doesn't have to take a long time, but you've got to find the right avenues. You've got to find the right coaches who know how to do that. And if you're working with people that really don't know about subconscious beliefs, I would suggest you might seek somebody out that does, because at least from my experience, the people that I've seen, when we get to those subconscious blocks, a lot of stuff starts changing for the better, quicker, faster, easier, with more joy. And that's another thing. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the joy in the journey. What the heck is that all about? Are we not striving and growing and building to bring more joy, to bring more happiness, fulfillment, contentment? Not to say that you stay where you are forever. There's always going to be growth happening. I think that's kind of the nature of who we are. But really, are you not doing all that you're doing for an end result that's pleasant? I am. Maybe you're not. I don't know, but I am. So I tell this story because it was such a significant difference for me. And I'm using that again now going forward to another stage of growth that feels exciting to me, not scary. I'm not saying the words I can't because I've cleared up enough of the reasons why it would be too fearful, why it would be too scary, why it would have been detrimental for me to go forward with the energy that I was carrying back then. Now I'm excited. I'm feeling alive. I'm waking up in the morning saying, this is fun. My life is getting exciting and fun in a positive way, not just exciting through trauma, tragedy. And that was a hard spell. And my heart goes out to you if you're in one of those places. But if this feels good to you, if it feels light instead of heavy, look into some of my things. Look on trueauthenticpower.com. I have more tools that are coming that will be extremely beneficial if this resonates with you. I hope this helped. I hope it brought you some hope because things can happen in much easier ways. So if you're pushing and it's hard, consider there might be a different way. And I am someone who has done that. So until our paths cross again, bye-bye for now.